Let's take a look at the ERP testing and verification module. This is our ERP testing module setup screen. We put in our shift times in this column over here. We give each piece of equipment or process that we have. We put in what that process is called, what that machine number's name is. There's enough room here for 250 pieces of equipment or processes. Your ERP number in your ERP system that relates to that process or piece of equipment goes in this column. The supervisor's name or employee number that's responsible for that piece of equipment or process goes here, and a contact number for them goes in this column. From your HR department, if they can download into Excel from your ERP system operator names and their associated human resource number, they can be put into these columns. There's enough room for 250 operators or employees. Our system works with problem codes. In other words, if you have a group of, say, 25 or 30 CNC milling machines, for instance, you're going to come up with problem codes, problems that typically happen when you're running a particular type of job. I've got some examples that I've put in here. Each group of equipment or each group of processes, you need to come up with some problem codes for each, because we're going to track those as we move through the ERP testing. Next, we need to download your ERP routings of your part numbers and then get them into my ERP test routings screen, and we'll go over that on an as-needed basis. The other thing that you're going to have to do is get the material cost downloaded for each particular component or process or part number that you're going to put in the system, because we track defect material cost, overproduction material cost, as well as defect labor. So you're going to also have to put in the labor cost for that particular operation. Unless you don't want to track those items, then you need not put it in. This is the test plan screen. And basically the only thing that we're going to do is we're going to enter your part number that you want to test, dash, just like it says, the machine number. We're going to use machine number 1. It pulls up that part number with all the information that we've downloaded from your ERP system and put in our routing screen. To make things easy, I'm just going to fill this schedule up with that same part number to save time in the video. You see it pulls up all the information. The other thing that we want to do is we want to take a look at the sales order that triggered the work order, because we want to find out, somebody, in this case I'm going to say a customer ordered 40 pieces and we're planning to run 45. Not that that's a good idea, not that it is a bad idea, but we want to find out what triggered us to build as many as we're building. The next thing we do is we just schedule it. We see here from our operation setup that we start at 6, we go to 3:30 on our first shift. I recommend, when possible, that you run a full shift through on your ERP testing on a machine if that's possible, because you're going to get a lot more valuable information over the longer period than you are just running one part number, and just having information on that part number. You're going to find out a lot more hidden efficiencies that can be had if you schedule a whole shift. But basically we're going to start at 6. I put in a move time that in our system you can say that you want to give operators 2 minutes to move from machine to machine. I've done that in this example. We have a start time of 6:02 and end time of 10:38. As an example here, we have a break at 10 a.m. of 15 minutes. So I have to put that in there, and you can see this works in real time. All right, 10:23, but we have that break, so it's going to change the time to 10:38. Same thing with lunch. So this next operation is going to go to 3:30. It's going to pick up the full day. In the event that you have more part numbers, you can put 20 different part numbers in different machines. If you want to fill them up with 2 or 3 different machines, you can do that on this test plan screen. And then we move to the management data entry screen, and this is where we input the data as the tests start. As you can see, we've got the same data. We've got a start time of 6:02, planned run quantity of 45. We're just going to enter the data. Did the job take longer, or did it go faster than the 6:12 end time? I'm going to say that it went longer by 3 minutes. What problem code, we talked about that earlier, do we associate to that taking more time or less time? I'm going to say that it was a safety equipment issue. Then you break it down even more by saying, okay, what category here fits most the circumstances with regard to the problem code? I'm going to say that because of the safety equipment, we had to do some rework and some corrections, and that took the 3 minutes. We track these as well, so you can actually see through your operations which one of these is coming up the most. Then we're going to move to runtime. Now we have a revised runtime end time of 10:35. For example, I'm just going to say that it took longer. I'm going to say that we had a material issue. M is for material. And then I'm going to say that because of the material, there was something wrong with it. It was too thick, too wide, too hard, too soft. So it caused us to have to do adjustments and fine tuning, and that cost us 20 minutes. You could put more in there. Maybe this is 15 and something else was 5, however you want to break it up. Whatever seems to make the most sense to you based on what you're observing at the time. And then we move to removing the tooling. We have things set up in ours where you can actually have setup time and setup time removal. Okay, I'm going to say in this example that it actually didn't take 5 minutes. It only took 2. And I'm going to say that the problem with that is that our quotes or our routings need to be changed to 3 because there's no problems with them. And that gives us an actual end time of 10:38. I'm going to enter that we had 4 defects, and I'm going to associate those defects to that material issue. Next, we move to the test screen, and this is where anybody in the organization that wants to look at the screen as it progresses throughout the day, they can see how things are doing as far as how accurate your ERP routings are. And you can scan along here and you see that tracking our efficiencies as things go along, we see that we have a minimum of 91.8 and a max of 100, but I only have one job in here. You remember the overproduction of 5 units. You remember the defects of 4, which left me a net of only 1. You see that our efficiency has cost us $18.46. Our defect materials is 24, defect labor 20, the overproduction costs, so on and so forth. And then up here, we're actually, as time goes on, these numbers are going to grow. They can't go down. This one can go down because the next job you may do even better than what your MRP routings show, and it's going to cause this number to decrease. But this is showing us what if every day we had ran this job the same way, or this series of jobs throughout the day, we would end up with this amount of money in extra expense that's not showing up in our ERP routings. If we did that every day for a year, it would be this amount of money that's not showing up. This particular column is just a representation of that $6,000 sales order that triggered this work order, what all of this inefficiency, overproduction, and defects, how it's affected that $6,000 sale. It's affected it by 1.22%. It's also bringing up all of the data on what machine we ran, who ran it, the supervisor, and the contact number if we want to contact them throughout the day to get more information. And then from there, we're basically going to grab this information just like this. We're going to copy. We're going to move now to the routings test history. We're going to scroll down a bit. We're just going to go paste down 20. We're going to paste 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Now, we're in. We've got all of our data from our today's test in the system in this screen. And what this screen is going to allow us to do, it's going to give us the same information. The more information you put in here, the worse your numbers are going to get over time. The other thing that it allows us to do to help us improve is it allows us to sort this information by all of these categories and all of these subcategories. And then as we do that and we get more information, we have this area where we can put corrective action in. It might not be specific corrective action, it may be corrective action in general, and then you get into a more specific corrective action, once you get into it a little bit deeper. But what this is going to let you do is it's going to let you keep all of your information over time, sort it, and then track part number by part number, machine by machine, operator by operator, and really find out what the root cause problems that you have are. And that's basically how our system works. Again, this is for large or small companies. It's a module that you can subscribe to without subscribing to the visual productivity improvement system that's on the rest of the website. This is included in that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of our website. I wish you all the luck in the world, and have a great rest of the day.